Good morning and welcome to EMTV. How inclusive is a university if its job offer starts with Dutch students only? We will talk about this in a minute, but first, news. Former rector Henk Smit firmly believes that a 60-credit BSA is the best way to keep students on track. He said that in an interview with EM. The minister may be critical of the norm, but according to Smit, she is just insufficiently informed. There has been a series of burglaries at SSH Erasmus International House in Kralingen. Students Karya and Ipek got a huge scare when two long and thin strangers popped up in their rooms while they were home. The Eureka Week board is working on not one, not two, but 3 different programs. They are all based on different pandemic development scenarios. In all 3 options, students will be able to meet physically. This week, the Netherlands is welcoming the spring. The sun is shining, the temperature rises above 20 degrees. But what if you can't enjoy the wonderful weather due to exams? We came across students Paula and Anouk in Kralingen who had a very creative solution for the problem.
Hello, I'm Paula, I'm 22 years old and I study medicine here at the Erasmus University.
Hi, my name is Anouk, I'm also 22 years old and I study econometrics here at the Erasmus.
Yeah, we're studying. We're trying to enjoy the nice weather but studying at the same time.
We took down the desk and chairs that fit through the staircase and we decided to enjoy the weather as well. We don't really have a garden, we live upstairs. We figured during the day we should probably be productive and then around 5 we'll probably still go and enjoy the weather a bit more at the Kanisenplas.
I think the fact that my exam is next week really gives me the push to stay concentrated.
Well, yesterday was also a very nice day and then we just sat upstairs in our own living room in the shade and we were both actually kind of sad we were not outside. So now we decided to just take it outside.
Dutch students only. That was written above an email from the previous Eureka Week board, much to the surprise of medical student Ferayet Hok. He wrote a critical opinion piece about it for EM. The university has then promised to do better. Earlier, EM editor Tessa Hoflands spoke to Ferayet and Daisy Ruiter, the student minister for inclusion and sustainable economics in the student cabinet. Let's hear what they had to say.
Ferayet, can you quickly recap and tell us about the email of the Eureka Week?
Of course. I think it was somewhere in October last year that I received an email. I saw it on my phone. And it started with the words in caps, Dutch students only. Now, of course, that got my attention because I thought, what if I'm not a Dutch student? Why am I getting this email if it's not, if it's not for everyone? So I opened it, and apparently it was about the Eureka Week. They were looking for new board members of the Eureka Week, and that struck quite a chord with me because as an international student myself, but also as someone who's been active in student work with student associations, I've seen that, especially during Eureka Week, it's quite hard for international students to find their way.
So you're also saying that this is not an isolated problem at the university?
It's certainly not an isolated event, no. International students have very specific problems that often their Dutch counterparts don't see, and that often the university also doesn't understand. One of those things is that a lot of international students aren't even here when the Eureka Week starts because they have problems with their visa. If it only were just a week later, there would be so much more international students in the Netherlands. And because a lot of them don't get to experience the Eureka Week, they don't get to meet a lot of people, a lot of Dutch people or other internationals, but also they miss the opportunity to have things, to have a regulated start. For example, the registration with the municipality or the health insurance, stuff like that.
talking about that, going to you, Daisy. The student cabinet is, how should I say it, a ludic action to draw attention and the attention of real politics to the problems of the academia. And you're the minister, I should say this correctly, the Minister of Education for Inclusion and Sustainable Economics. Well,
Yeah,
as our brand new, ludic minister, how do you look at this Dutch-only case?
yeah. So it's without the education of, it's a student minister of inclusive and sustainable economy, but not super important right now.
No, thank you for
back to
correcting me.
the students. So yeah, definitely super worrying that, especially when as a university we say that we welcome international students, and then we still have these hurdles for international students that, yeah, doesn't actually create the welcoming environment that we say that we have.
You're a student at Erasmus University, and you're also quite committed to making academia and organizations within the university more inclusive, but also, of course, more safe for all groups. How do you see inclusion at the EUR? Do we still have a long way to go, or are we making progress?
Yeah, definitely. So I do, I'm really quite involved already in the diversity and inclusion. So I'm part of the student council and student assistant of diversity officer. So I see the amount of work and effort that the university is trying to put into it. But I do see that their environment is not as welcoming as it should be, for example, due to these things. So definitely we have a big way to go. But I do see the effort putting into it. So that's really hopeful.
Yeah, and what is, for example, a place where you see it? You say it's more than international students. What's, for example, another issue we should definitely look at more?
Women in economics. So yeah, there's still a big underrepresentation of female economists. So that's why the diversity officer of EZ is now very focused on trying to get more female professors, for example, or female PhDs. But yeah, we definitely also focus on other aspects of diversity as, for example, international students or students with disabilities.
Yes, and Farayat, you hear the Diversion and Inclusion Office is working on new guidelines. There will be meetings with different departments, with student organizations. But it's, of course, not the first time we have noticed that the university is quite white and most professors, most people are men who work there. So what should we do to make it a place for everyone?
Yeah, I think that's a problem that is not just specific to the Erasmus University. It's a problem that you know it's quite a problem in the Dutch society and maybe in Western society as well. And so it is the task of the university to acknowledge that and to work specifically on reducing those problems in the university itself. What should we do? Well, I think one of the better things that they are doing is making sure that there are student councils, that there are students who have input in these matters. But another thing, something that I'm not sure why we're missing that, is I think we need to work on the diversification of the faculty. More women, more people of color, more people with other thoughts and other I'm not even sure how
more ideas, just different ideas than what is probably now the most regular thing at a faculty or at a department.
Well, yes, you're saying exactly what I'm thinking. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be this hard. But just like the email from the Eureka Week, I think my personal opinion is that if any international student were on the board at that moment, no such email would ever have been sent out. And so, in the same way, I think we have to look at the problems of the university itself. We would have a more diverse faculty if the people who are selecting the faculty were more diverse themselves.
And Daisy, I think you completely agree with Farayat, or am I wrong?
No, definitely. Like, I'm nodding my head a lot here.
If you could change something, you would want a more diverse board. Perhaps that's even the start. What is your ultimate goal regarding inclusion at the university?
Ultimate goal is that that the university creates an environment that makes sure that anyone who wants to join whatever board or whatever position or whatever association or event can do so, and that there's no restriction based on, for example, ethnicity or gender, things that should not matter.
Brian, what do you think an inclusive university looks like? Can you imagine it?
I usually think the other way around, right? You don't think what does an inclusive university look like, but you just see the problems that pertain to not having that inclusivity, right? And so I just look at it this way. I'm a medical student. I want to become a doctor, and I'm working hard to do that. I also work to earn some money so I can pay my student loans. I just want to be doing that. That's all I want to be doing. But it just seems that certain situations in the university and elsewhere take my mind off of that. And so just because every now and then I speak out about inequality on several subjects, other students come to me and they tell me their story. What I just want is not to have those stories, and just to be able to just be students, just do what we have to do, to get our place in society, and not have to worry about the color of our skin or about what passport we have or stuff like that.
Yeah, I think this is a super important point, that it shouldn't be the responsibility of these students who already are having these hurdles, that they have to put more effort into making sure that the hurdles are gone. Like, they should not be the ones putting the extra work into this. But yeah, so I guess that's the ultimate goal, that it won't be necessary for them anymore to have to work harder to be able to get the same opportunities.
And I'd like to emphasize that, the Erasmus University is an international university, and that is the way that we market ourselves. And if we do that, then we have to be true to that image in all aspects.
I think that you completely agree, and I both really want to thank you also for the effort you put in, and of course by also helping all those other students by telling a bit of their story, at least today. I want to thank you, and we will of course be in touch once again.
That was Tessa Hofland speaking to Ferayet Hok and Daisy Ruiter. We have asked the Eureka Week board for a brief response. They only wanted to respond in writing. We are working closely together with the Erasmus University's Diversity and Inclusion Office to shape the Eureka Week in a way that embodies the values of all students of the university. The D&I office has installed an advisory board to help us garner more diverse insights and to help make the Introduction Week even more inclusive. The topic of diversity and inclusion will be a point of discussion for some time to come. Because how do you deal with such things in education? Well, this TikTok video might inspire you.
So if you're going to be a professor, be this kind of professor.
Right? Transphobia and sexism will not be tolerated in my class. Absolutely not. This is the warning now. Trans women are women. Trans men are men. Non-binary folks exist authentically. Questioning your gender and sexuality is okay. Gender and sexuality are fluid and it shall be respected. These are non-negotiable items, right? Going forward in this class, this is how we're going to operate.
Thank you all for watching. EMTV will be back next Thursday, 9 a.m. Do you want to keep up to date with the latest news? Then go to erasmusmagazine.nl.